Number 5. F-Zero X. The original F-Zero game was one of those rare gems that I got to play every so often when I was growing up. I never got a Super NES, so a few years later, when I heard of an F-Zero game that was going to be coming out on the Nintendo 64, I flipped my lid. Nothing could prepare me for what I was about to play. This had to be one of the most mind-blowing games that I had ever played. The graphics in this game had to be one of the best in the whole N64 library. I was literally blown away by how fast I was going in the game. And this game made you feel like you could own everyone on the track. The entire series is my favorite racing franchise. F-Zero GX came along later and blew my mind once again, but X totally changed my mind of what a racing game could be and how unbelievably fun it could be. With its hardcore music library, great controls, and enough ships to start an armada, this game will stick with me for a really long time. Number 4. Sonic 2 for the Sega Genesis. Sonic 2 was, again, one of those rare games I got to play every so often when there was a demo at Toys R Us or one of my dad's stores. You know, what can really be said about this game that hasn't been said a million times before? It's a classic Sonic game, and arguably, it's the best one in the classic Sonic trilogy. Being able to run at breakneck speeds is incredible as it is, but when you add fantastic color and graphics and some of the most memorable music in video game history, you get an absolute masterpiece in the platforming genre. I'll always be a fan of these classic Sonic games, but this one stands alone in my book. Number 3. Super Mario World for the Super NES. Like the other two games, I only got to play this one when I got my hands on a demo at a store or at a friend's house. Growing up, this was my all-time favorite game. Everything that Nintendo did right in Super Mario Bros. 3 was taken up a notch. Right from the start, when you look around the map, you get the feeling this Mario game is going to be way more intense than before. The graphics were way better, Yoshi was introduced, new power-ups, the gameplay was perfect, and thank God for Nintendo creating a save file system for this game. I also loved how in a lot of levels, there were more than one way of completing the level. One exit would take you one way in the map, and the other exit would take you some different way. This added way more replay value to the game. So far as the 2D platforming genre is concerned, this is about as good as you can get. Number 2. Halo for the Xbox. Oh, heck yeah, it's Halo. Unlike most people, I never got a chance to play the campaign mode of Halo until a few months ago in January. Until then, the only time I got a chance to play Halo was if I was in a friend's house. And even then, I was having a blast, but I could not believe what awaited me when I began the campaign. A story of Earth at war with the Covenant, crash landing on a weapon of galactic destruction only known as the Halo, and the Flood. Oh, holy crap, the Flood. That one scene when you're watching the video recording of what happened to the Marines that came in before you. Oh gosh, that has to be one of the freakiest moments in gaming history, at least in my book. Add a soundtrack that fits the game perfectly, spot-on first-person shooter controls, swarms of aliens that are just waiting to be filled with lead, and a multiplayer system that never gets old, and you got yourself a revolutionary first-person shooter. Halo 2 and Halo 3 definitely built on the Halo story and made it unbelievable, but it all started with the first Halo, and if the first one wasn't good, no one would care about the second or third. That's why Halo 1 is ranked up at number 2. And my number 1 favorite video game is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The best. Not many people would make a claim as bold as the best video game ever made, but that's exactly what this game is. Nearly 15 years after its release, Ocarina of Time continues to stand the test of time as one of the best games ever created. At that time, the graphics itself would have been enough to entice people to play, but what holds this game together for so long is its unbelievably addicting storyline. I know I talk a lot about the storyline in a game, but in reality, the story in every game and how it's executed makes the difference between a good game and a masterpiece. The controls are perfect, even 15 years later. The boss battles are satisfying. The inventory system ability to utilize 3 of the C buttons was incredibly helpful, and the personality of each character blended the whole game together into a legendary game. One of my favorite moments in the game was after you went through the portal in the Temple of Time for the first time. You saw what happened for the 7 years that you were gone, and when Ganondorf reigned. Oh, holy crap. When I saw that town destroyed, I knew that this dude was evil and he needed to be taken out. Not many other games have made me hate the bad guy as much as that game, which is what made the end boss battle so incredibly satisfying, especially when Ganondorf showed his true form. Oh yeah, it was on. This game is one of the best, and whenever a new game comes out, I compare it to Ocarina of Time. It's that good. There might be a game that comes around sometime that might make it to number 1, but for now, Ocarina of Time reigns supreme as my number 1 all-time favorite game.
Well, there you go, guys. There's my top 10 video games. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree, something along those lines. Either way, thank you for watching. Another video game review coming out next week.